Hi, everyone. Tyler Mannion here, NPC and IFBB Pro League Vice President. We'll be going over the recap for the Arnold UK Classic Physique. So, we'll go over the top four. We start off with Wesley, who won again after winning in Columbus. Overall, I think this was a closer show than Columbus was between these guys here in the top three. I think Wesley still looked great, but I think he just had a little bit more of that pop to his physique in Columbus. Brion looked great here, and Urs definitely looked good as well. Now, in the morning when we were judging, I think Urs still, to prejudging, brought a package that was just a little bit off. He looked much, much better at finals, but we're going to talk about what went on in the morning, and that's the footage that you're going to see. So, in the morning, looking at Wesley with both Brion and Urs, I would give, when we go between Wesley and Brion, Wesley, I would give the front double bicep pose. I would give the side chest pose. I would give the favorite classic pose all to him pretty clearly. The pose that I think is much closer now than it was before is the back double bicep. Wesley's back is crazy. He also has great arms and shoulders with great detail to them as well, but he's just lacking in the glutes and hamstrings to balance out his physique. That's his main weakness right now. So from now until the Olympia, those are the main things that he needs to just work on to bring up so he can complete his whole entire physique and really make it so it's really, really balanced and really, really difficult to beat. But Brion would still take the back double bicep pose over him for that reason, because Brion has a great back, plus the arms and the shoulders, plus his legs from the back look great as well. Then the ab and thigh pose, Wesley, this is a pose that he needs to improve on. He needs to show off more taper in this pose. He needs more taper, from his lats going down into his waist. His abs definitely need to be deeper. When you're going against here, Brion and Urs, who have great abdominal and thigh poses. Brion has great abs. His taper's pretty good. Urs has one of, if not the best ab and thigh poses in the Pro League for Classic Physique. His abs are crazy deep and separated, plus his quads from the front are always great, and his taper's great in this pose. So that's a pose that Wesley definitely has to bring up as a weaker pose for him. Then we'll go into the battle for second and third. Again, Brion and Urs are always super close in my opinion. Like I said before, at the Olympia, I had Urs beating Brion. Last week, I had Brion beating Urs, even though that's not how the placings went. Now this week, I'll go through side by side with them right now, because again, it wasn't straight scores. It was 11-14. So in the morning, front double bicep, I think Brion still took the front double bicep here, because again, he has great arms, a good taper into a nice small waist. The legs, again, from the front, they need more size. They are downsized in my opinion, but overall, the flow to the pose is still very strong. Now, Urs here in the front double bicep, he changed up the way he was hitting it to be more straight on, and I think it was a solid change. However, when you look at Urs in this front double here, you see that he definitely needs more arm size. I would say that Urs' arm size sticks out more than Brion's leg size as of right now. It sticks out a little bit more as needing to improve. Also, in the front double here, you can see Urs' chest tends to look a little bit shallow. So when you're looking at the whole entire body here, I think Brion just has a little bit more of that flow and a little bit more of that balance, but it's a very close pose. Next is the side chest pose. Here is a pose where Brion poses, a little bit small. He doesn't have that fullness to his chest. He just has good detail. His side leg is very good. Urs' side leg is very good as well. He has more fullness to his chest than Brion, but the arms and the shoulders tend to favor Brion over Urs. So here, again, this is, a very, very close pose between these two. But what I saw at this show is I would just lean towards Brion by a hair this past weekend. That would make it 2-0 right now for Brion. Then next up is the back double bicep. Again, the back double is an extremely strong pose for Brion. This is probably actually the most important pose for Urs to bring up. You see that he needs more size in the arms and the shoulders from the back. And while his back definitely looked better here than it did in Columbus during the judging round, it still needs more depth and detail and actually more width in this back double too as well. The crazy taper you see from him from the front in the front double is not appearing the same in the back double here. So he needs that width and that taper in the back while keep improving the depth to his back and the detail, plus again the arms as well. Lower body wise, his legs are great. That makes it 3-0 for Brion. The next pose is the ab and thigh pose. The ab and thigh, this is such a strong pose for Urs because of the taper, the deep separation and the lines in his abs, plus his crazy quads. For me, he takes this pose over Brion. That would make it 3-1. And then favorite classic pose. Again, you see Urs's crazy shape and taper in this pose because he hits the hybrid front lat spread and front double. The front lat spread side, his arms and shoulders don't look bad from the front from this angle. You don't really see that, imbalance, I would say. But, with the arm that's still up, you still need more to the arm. However, with the flow of his physique and the balance with the taper down into his legs, again, his quads look great. The conditioning was great here from the front. I would lean towards Urs in this pose over Brion. Brion, his taper is not as good as Urs. Even though he's in the crucifix, it's just not as good as Urs overall. Plus, with the downsize in the legs, even though it's a strong pose overall, it beats a lot of competitors, obviously. But next to Urs, the flow and the balance and everything that he brings to this pose, I give the pose to Urs to make it 3-2. But again, with these guys, the front double here was very close. The side chest here was very close. So these guys are extremely close to each other when it comes to their battling pose for pose. As you see, it could change. It could change any which weekend. It could change maybe, depending on what time they step on stage, hours within each other. That's how close these guys are. So they're always giving each other a good battle. Obviously now it's went back and forth, and it just shows you how exciting and close that this group is, at the top of Classic here. And I thought these two guys were actually closer to Wesley this weekend than they were 2 weeks ago as well. So all this does is it sets up for an exciting rest of the year and an exciting Olympia. And I'm sure they're all going to be working on their weaknesses to keep improving their physiques and keep impressing us. And then finally, we'll get into fourth place, which was Michael. Michael took 6th at the Olympia this past year. Columbus wasn't his best showing. I thought he improved definitely a little bit from Columbus to here. For Michael, overall with his physique, I think he needs to improve on adding a little bit more width, especially like when you see his back double bicep. He has great depth and detail back there, but the taper and the width could improve. He needs a little bit more to his legs as well. You see that when he stands next to guys with these really, really great legs. His legs are good, but they just need to come up a little bit more so he can battle with these guys. And again, like with the width in the front double bicep as well, it's just, the structure and the flow of his physique could improve just a little bit more. And this is a guy that has improved unbelievably since he first came into the pro league, since he first started pro shows, and has worked his way up into this elite group. So I'm excited to see what improvements he can keep making as well. And that will wrap it up for Classic Physique.